Hi guys, it's Chi here. So I'm on Google Seattle campus today and I'm going to ask people questions like what do they do at Google and how much they make and how did they get into Google? Let's find out.
Our first question here is going to be what's your job title at Google and what products do you work on currently?
Right. I am a software engineer here, so that's my title. I work on infrastructure side of things, so mostly on cloud computing, I guess in general terms.
And how many years of experience do you have at Google? And in tech in general too?
Yeah, at Google, I've been here for like a couple of years now. Before that, I worked at Microsoft, so like totally I've been there for like 7 years.
So for like 2 years and engineer at Google, like what can people expect? What's the range?
It depends upon the level that you have been hired at. So like L4, L5, and also the area in which you're hired at. So I think level.fi will give you the exact numbers based on the area and the level.
So would you say like around 200K, like 250 for...
Yeah, that sounds about right for L4. Yeah.
Cool. And that is TCs, right? Total compensation.
Yes.
Okay,
yeah.
Great. And then what would be your advice for people who want to make it to Google?
For software engineers in general, I think the interview process is pretty straightforward. It's mostly just general software engineering skills, like fundamentals, data structures, algorithms, and like system design interviews based upon the level that you interview in. So nothing specific to Google per se, like the usual industry standards is all I would recommend.
What do you do at Google and what kind of product you're working on?
Okay, yeah, I'm a front-end engineer. I'm working on web contacts, which is part of core. It's just like contacts.google.com.
And what kind of advice do you have for people who want to make it to Google?
I guess I can only really talk about my own experience, but I would say like for me, I did do a lot of coding questions, and then like part of it as well was just sort of doing like my personal projects, like and just kind of getting that experience as well. I think helped a lot. Yeah. First personal project I'd recommend would be like building a personal website. That's just like a simple project, but is kind of you're gonna have to learn to like build it. Yeah. One other thought is like doing coding questions like on LeetCode, like by yourself, it's just sitting down, is very different from like interviewing in person. You're probably gonna want to have that in like real settings or practices.
Very last one, and of course, like you don't have to answer if you don't want. So, what is your total comp for this position?
Right now, it's around 150.
It includes like the base and the bonus as well. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I also just joined. I'm a little over a year in.
Hi. So, if you could introduce yourself, like what do you do at Google and what products you working on as well?
So my name is Christy. I work at Google in Seattle, and I'm a software engineer here working on the cloud department.
What kind of career advice do you have for people who aspire to work here?
So career advice for people aspiring to come work at Google, I think it's most interesting if you have some project or something you're really passionate about. It's not just about getting into a FANG or manga company. It's more about what you want to do to help make this world better and be in a place where you're working with the top tier intelligent people. Like every day I think like, wow, everyone here is so smart. And if you have something you want to do that will better this world, then Google is a great place to do it because you have incredibly smart people, a lot of resources. You can actually get a lot of amazing things done.
Yeah. So like in terms of the interview, how do you prepare for the interview to Google? Because I heard it's really difficult.
Oh yeah. So the interview process is quite standard across FANG companies. You have to do something called leak coding. It's where you do kind of these solve logic puzzles in code. So it's called data structures and algorithms. You just have to crunch through it. It's very much like studying for the SAT. You do it, you learn it, you get better.
I don't like SATs.
Yeah, SATs are hard. Interviews are hard. Get a good friend to do them together. It's really more fun that way, and do mock interviews because it's one thing to be good at solving the logic problem, but the more important thing that you do at the interview is discuss with people on how to solve an ambiguous question. They want to know how you think in a situation where you don't know all the variables and how you solve things with different input from other people, because that's ultimately what you're doing in the workplace.
So the first question is, what do you do at Google? What's your job title and what product do you work on?
I'm a software engineer in Google Cloud.
And then what advice do you have for people who wanted to work at Google?
Dive deep and be curious about technology and always learning. I think those will be the good qualities.
In order to like prepare for the interview itself, right? Like how do you actually prepare for the interview?
I think go back to the college algorithm course will be very helpful, and I'm pretty sure there are like online tutorials about preparing for the interview, and go through those will be also helpful. And I think we also have like mock interview services provided by the recruiter, and taking advantage of those will be very helpful as well.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And how many years of experience do you have at Google or in tech in general?
10 years.
And do you have any like crazy story about like when you or someone you know broke something?
Oh yeah, from my previous employer, yes. I was in Amazon before, and then someone from the team actually then accidentally made a change, and then that broke half of the internet back in 2016, I think.
Holy moly. If you could quickly introduce what do you do at Google and what product you're working on?
So I'm Junfei. I joined Google 5 years ago. I used to work in Microsoft, and then and then jumped to Google.
Yeah.
Ryan, we are in the same team. We are working in cloud platform.
Yeah, this is Ryan. I joined Google a year and a half ago. I also jumped from Microsoft actually. From Microsoft. I right now work in the same team with Junfei in GCP cloud platform service infrastructure. It's quite fun working at Google. I would say like how I got into tech. I was majoring in computer science, and I sort of into computer stuff. And I actually worked at some other company, like small company before Microsoft and Google. And then I sort of want to see how the big company operates and how they work and come up with like products. So I interviewed a couple of times with Microsoft, Amazon, Facebook, Google. I actually interviewed twice to get the job and end up getting this job. So
Like twice, like
with Google, yeah.
What is your total compensation for this position?
Not quite sure, but it's higher than Microsoft.
I'm not like a senior engineer, but right now, like I would say Google pays quite good for like engineers at this level.
Yeah. And any like career advice you have for people who aspire to make it to Google?
I mean, it depends on which level you are applying for. So if you are applying for junior software engineer positions, you need to prepare for, like you say, coding questions. But I think for higher level, the coding things is less. Yeah. And you don't have to be a computer science background. But most of the engineers, I think, is computer background.
Yeah.
But I do know some of them that didn't.
That's great. Thank you so much for the advice.